Welcome back to The Source. We turn to Niagara's Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Mustafa Hirji, for some answers about Thanksgiving weekend. What should we be doing this weekend? If all family members are vaccinated, is it safe to gather? Dr. Hirji, what's your take?
Sure. So, I think we are in a relatively good place here in Ontario where we've been able to keep cases pretty flat the last little while. That being said, it's all fragile, and we do worry that Thanksgiving, a time when lots of people are going to be gathering, interacting, that could really cause infections to spread. And so the big guidance I'd have here is try to keep your gatherings to people who are also fully vaccinated. If you're all fully vaccinated people together, you can all take your masks off, you can sit around the table, and you're going to be pretty safe. When you bring in those unvaccinated individuals, unfortunately, they do introduce some risk, and hopefully this can be encouragement for everybody to go and start to get their vaccines so that they're able to celebrate these holidays together. If you do have gatherings with unvaccinated people, strongly recommend you move them outdoors, you wear masks, you keep distance.
The way I look at it, those unvaccinated people are the ones that are at the biggest risk. Am I not right about that?
Yeah, that's absolutely true. We are seeing overwhelmingly our cases in Niagara right now are in unvaccinated people, despite the fact that unvaccinated people are now under 25% of the population, including children in there. So they're a small minority of the population at this point, but they do represent most of our cases because unfortunately they don't have any immunity against the virus.
We're seeing more and more employers create mandatory vaccination policies. As we record this interview with you right now, Dr. Hirji, we're of the understanding that Prime Minister Trudeau may be announcing that same kind of policy for federal government employees. Is this going to increase the vaccination rate overall?
I'd suspect it would, because this might be the reason some people decide to get off the fence if they're unsure about getting vaccinated and choose to get vaccinated. I think the bigger thing that we're seeing, though, is that we've gone through 19 months of this pandemic. There's been lots and lots of disruption. Entire sectors of the economy have had to shut down for periods of time. When they've been operating, there have been outbreaks in workplaces, which has disrupted their ability to really recover and start to earn income again. And I think employers are deciding that they don't want to see this disruption anymore. They want to make sure that their employees are vaccinated so that they're able to keep operating. They don't have these outbreaks. And of course, they keep their clients and their customers safe as well, so they're not passing infection on to them.
We heard earlier this week about a Kingston business, a pub, I believe, that lost its liquor license because they were not enforcing the vaccination passport. Are you hearing any of this in Niagara, and what would happen if that came to light?
Yeah, I've heard a few instances where the AGCO has removed a liquor license from a location that isn't following the provincial regulations on requiring the vaccine certification. I haven't heard of that specific instance happening in Niagara. We've definitely heard of complaints around certain businesses trying not to follow the rules, to basically disregard them. And when we hear about those, we are passing it on to our local bylaw offices to go do follow-up and investigate.
In your opinion, do you believe that most Niagara businesses are following those rules?
Yeah, absolutely. I think most businesses, most people are following the rules. I mentioned 75% plus, I think it's actually 76% today of people have one dose of vaccine. So the vast majority of people are choosing to get vaccinated. And likewise, I think the vast majority of businesses believe vaccination is important, and they're choosing to make sure they follow these rules around vaccination, and in many cases require that employees get vaccinated.
Are we going to see vaccinations soon for children under 12 years old?
I certainly hope so. I think it's perhaps a little bit of a ways off. Pfizer, I know, has at least submitted their application to Health Canada now, so it's with Health Canada to do the reviews. I imagine it's probably going to be at least November before we get that approval. And then it's going to be a question of how much of the vaccine can we get, because this is going to be a new childhood formulation of the vaccine. It's very similar to the adult formulation, but smaller doses, recognizing that children are smaller. And so it'll be a new product, and we'll have to see how much of that product's available and whether we're able to get enough for our use, or whether countries like the US, Israel, that have these preferential deals with the pharmaceutical companies end up taking most of it.